Dude, do we really have to do a Valentine's Day episode? I watched new shit. I want to talk about new shit. I do not want to tie it into Valentine's Day. I do not want to talk about Valentine's Day. It is a horrible fake holiday that just makes more people feel bad than feel good, Zach.
Casey, it's okay. You're not alone. You have me and Zach here with you.
No, I do celebrate Valentine's Day with my girlfriend. It's just that I don't watch horror movies when I do it.
Okay, I feel really, really bad about spooning you now.
Casey, if there's someone who doesn't want to celebrate Valentine's Day, wouldn't it be me? I mean, I'm the bachelor here. You guys are taken.
You can always be our little spoon. It's okay.
Right in the middle. Right there tucked away.
You can always be the meat in our sandwich, Zach.
Welcome to another Mystical Podcast, everybody, the pumpkin-scented intersection of horror and pop culture. If you notice my co-host being extra mean to me today, that's because I woke up like 20 minutes before we were supposed to record, and I was 10 minutes late at least, so probably not that happy with me right now.
I woke up at 5:30 this morning.
I'm sorry, Casey. My name is Zach. That is Professor Casey. How's it going, Professor Casey?
I go by El Dandy these days.
El Dandy, that's news to me. And then we also have Chris. Are you Professor yet? Has that happened yet?
Sure, why not?
Professor Pistol.
I skipped my morning poop for you, Zach.
I did not. Let's just not say anything about that.
Now the listeners need to know about our poops.
Anyway, I'm running on no food whatsoever and just some water. So, yeah, this is our, I guess, begrudging Valentine's Day episode. I don't know if that's going to be the title. We really don't hate Valentine's Day.
No, I kind of really do, actually.
Don't tell your girlfriend that.
No, I'm not. I'm cool with Valentine's Day with my girlfriend. I just don't think everyone else should have to celebrate it and that single people should feel bad. That's my thing.
That's why it's also Single Awareness Day, which I am bringing awareness to here. It's a very important cause in my heart. Yeah, Single Awareness Day.
Okay, that works. So okay, when we talk about our new stuff this episode, that's for Single Awareness Day.
Yeah, so what we're going to do today, guys, we are going to celebrate Valentine's Day a little. We're going to help you out. We have some recommendations for you to watch, from horror movies to watch on Valentine's Day, whether you're by yourself riding solo like me, or you're in a couple, or you're on a date, perhaps. I don't know how many dates are going to be happening this year, sadly, but we're going to help you out and give you some great horror movie recommendations. So before we get to that, though, we have some new stuff we want to talk about, unless you guys want to do it the opposite way. Let's do the new stuff first.
New stuff. New stuff.
All right, without further ado, don't cross the streams.
One big Twinkie.
Cross the streams.
Okay, so the first one I want to talk about, you'd have to rent it on streaming. I bought it from Vinegar Syndrome, and I regret my life choices. So what I'm saying is, don't watch this. It's called Cthulhu Mansion. Doesn't have Cthulhu in it. Review over. No, actually, it kind of starts off pretty strong with a woman getting burned alive during a magic act, and then going into this dope haunted house in a fairground that looks like maybe it's filmed somewhere in Europe. I don't know, but it's one of those ride through haunted house attractions with the little cart, and you get to see some really cool shots of that. And then the rest of the movie is boring and sucks, and it's kind of like a shittier version of Spookies where nothing happens and with way less monsters. It's like if you cut all the monsters out of Spookies, you would get the rest of this movie. And not fun. Not good times. Then the monsters you get look like shit, and you don't get to see those until the end, and they're very much not Cthulhu. Once again, Cthulhu Mansion should be called False Advertising Mansion. I think I gave it 1 star on Letterboxd, maybe 2 because of the fare. I might have gone 2. Yeah, but there's something else that Zach and I watched that cheered me up and made me feel a lot better, though.
You know, just really quickly though, I just have to say, one thing that always befuddles me about Cthulhu mythos is there just seems to be more like not good Cthulhu content than there is good Cthulhu content, or at least like well constructed Cthulhu content. Like when I think of Cthulhu content, I think like of Redbox, of the Transmorphers type of movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like when are we gonna get our like A-level Cthulhu content?
I mean, HBO gave us some.
That's true. Yeah, we did.
Underwater,
okay.
Underwater, even though they didn't advertise it.
Close.
Spoilers.
Close, yeah.
That episode of the Real Ghostbusters, Collect Call of Cthulhu, one of the greatest cartoons
it also
ever
feels like Cthulhu is just like a sub for H.P. Lovecraft in titles now, and they just use that like interchangeably, and so that's why half the time Cthulhu is not in something that has Cthulhu in the name. Like they're just using that as this is Lovecraftian, so Cthulhu because it's a cool sounding word, which it is, but come on.
And plus, you have all this weird stuff like Conan is technically part of the Cthulhu mythos and stuff like that.
Oh shit!
So,
really? I did not know that.
Yeah,
dude, why wasn't he in? Why was it Cthulhu and Conan the Barbarian? That would have been awesome to see Arnold take on Cthulhu.
Yeah, it's like tangentially, but like when you read the comics and you see how many like tentacled monsters there are in Conan stuff, it makes sense. Or if you read the books, Howard and Lovecraft were friends.
Yeah, Lovecraft. Great writer, racist piece of shit in real life.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Robert E. Howard, little bit too, actually. Not to the point where Lovecraft was. He just seemed kind of xenophobic.
Yeah. All right. So enough about that. That got real for a sec. So Casey was alluding to probably our biggest review this episode, I think our main new review, though I will touch with Chris after this. That sounded odd. Sounded odd.
Oh, it's a Valentine's Day. Touch away.
Don't touch me on Valentine's Day. I'm taking you, son of a bitch.
This is going to be a weird episode.
Me too. Don't try it.
I'm like half awake right now. I did take a shower. Psycho Goreman. Psycho Goreman, otherwise known as PG. This is our first big horror review of 2021 on our 40th episode, guys. I forgot to mention that it is our 40th show.
Oh, damn.
Directed by Steve Kostansky. It is available on video on demand streaming. I think it's going to come to Shudder later this year. I'm not sure exactly when. Casey, do you know?
It comes to Shudder in May. Yeah.
So, Psycho Goreman. This is a crazy freaking movie. Casey, what do you have to say about it? Because I know you have a lot of thoughts here.
Okay, so Psycho Goreman, I gave this 5 stars on Letterboxd. I think a lot less of Zach because he didn't. And
I liked
oh my god, this is like everything I would have wanted. So basically, this takes a look at like a Steven Spielberg Aliens Are Your Friends movie, but instead of E.T., you get PG, Psycho Goreman, who is an alien conqueror from another planet. It has a lot of like suit acting. It's like if you got E.T. but made it awesome instead of sad, boring shit. And it had a cool ride, though, Zach. I see you making the face. It had a cool ride.
No. I enjoyed it. My first thought after finishing it was, are we sure Alex Winter didn't direct this movie? Because if Alex Winter directed a horror movie, I imagine it would have looked a lot like this, because it felt like Psycho Goreman felt like, and this was basically my Letterboxd review, it felt like a blood-soaked acid trip in the vein of Freaked and Bogus Journey, but starring Power Ranger villains. That's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels very
Freaked. Like if Zach watched trauma movies, he would call it a trauma movie, but Zach doesn't watch trauma movies. It feels like a good trauma movie.
More. That's an area I need to explore more. Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Yeah, because it's the trauma vibe, but like better made, in my opinion. And I love trauma. Okay,
and Freaked felt like a trauma movie too. So,
and it has that same level of like awesome practical effects that Freaked had. But I think it feels the most like Japanese tokusatsu shows, like Kamen Rider or Power Rangers type stuff.
Yeah.
There's a fight scene in the forest that is very much ripped out of one of those shows.
It's a Power
except
Rangers
super
fight,
violent
with gore. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you like the Guyver, you will love this movie. It's very Guyver-esque, and I'm talking about the live action version of the Guyver. Plus, one of the monsters is voiced by Dick the Birthday Boy himself, Rich Evans from Red Letter Media. I'm a big fan.
Shit. That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's this giant blender character, like robotic blender. Tremendous.
So is he actually a Psycho Goreman, or is his first name Psycho and his last name Goreman?
Well, he's found by kids, and they want to give him the most awesome name possible, so they go for Psycho Goreman.
My name is Mr. Goreman.
Yeah, Mr. Goreman. He calls
Psycho
himself
Goreman?
the Archduke of Nightmares. So
Yeah, and they call him the Nameless One too. So he didn't have a name before this.
That's what I call myself in the bedroom.
the setup of this movie, it's like two 8 or 9 year old siblings. I think there must be twins. Mimi and Luke, played by Anita, probably saying this wrong, Josie Hannah and Owen Meyer. They're playing this game that comes back in this movie called Crazy Ball, which I'm going to be honest, clearly the writers didn't even know what this game was. They like half-ass made these rules up and it makes no sense. It's just like kids throwing balls and then chasing them, and it's competitive somehow. And anyway, so the girl Mimi wins, and I guess the prize is that her brother has to dig up into the ground for treasure or something.
No, he has to bury himself alive.
Is that what it is?
So he has to, yeah, loser gets buried alive. Yeah.
But he found like a treasure, so the sister gets to keep it. It's this glowing gemstone. And basically what this gemstone does is it gives Mimi control over this alien. That night, an alien like escapes from this hole, and he's like an alien overlord that was imprisoned on Earth for trying to destroy the galaxy. He was imprisoned by the, the Planetary Alliance in space, which you guys see later, which is made up of a bunch of Power Ranger looking villains. Anyway, he lays waste to a bunch of dudes at this nearby warehouse. The kids discover his footprints and they meet him, and that kind of sets up the story. He is not a good guy. He wants to destroy the world. No. But Mimi is like a real like spark plug and has control of him with this gemstone, and that kind of sets up the movie. The Planetary Alliance up in space see this, and they send down someone called a Templar, who is part of a warrior alien race, to find and kill PG. I'm not going to give away PG's backstory. There's a little more to it than that, and exactly everything that happens. But that's the basic setup of this movie. It's interesting.
You're fascinated throughout this movie.
Yeah. I mean, this alien overlord, he kind of facially looks a little bit like, it's like Ivan Ooze-ish, but like meets, I don't know,
blasphemy.
I mean, like a better looking Ivan Ooze. I don't know if you like.
He looks like Web Store. He looks like Web Store from He-Man. If anyone's familiar with Masters of the Universe, he does, with less eyes on his face. That's what my friend Alberto described him as, and I'm like, holy shit, that's really apt. It looks exactly like that character. I have a feeling these guys played with a lot of He-Man and Power Rangers and kind of created the storyline years before we ever saw it.
No, I think my main issue was that the characters aren't very likable, and that includes the kids. Like Mimi, it's clear that they looked at Phoebe from Monster Squad, and they were like, what would she be like if she was a few years older? But like,
what would she be like if she was a complete piece of shit? Everyone in this movie is a piece of shit, but that's what makes this movie great. It's like Kevin was talking about it with me. He's like, yeah, dude, it's like Society. Everyone's a piece of shit, but you love the movie for it. I mean, not Society. Did I say Society? I meant Terror Vision. My mistake. I have Society on the brain.
Mimi becomes like very power hungry, and she threatens to use PG to kill her brother like several times. She turns their best friend Alistair into like a giant brain creature, kind of accidentally, but he's never turned. I'm not going to say anything about it, but that poor kid.
It's a great design for a character too. Oh, so great.
So yeah, and then PG, you can't really root for him because he still wants to destroy the world. It's not like it's kind of like, the villain who turns into a good guy trope, but not really, because his motivation doesn't exactly change. It just maybe a bit towards the main characters. So it's just kind of like, and then the parents are total dicks, especially the dad, who is like, he really should have had his comeuppance in this movie. He's like not a good person. He's so lazy.
I love all the characters in this movie because they are just huge pieces of shit, and it makes this movie more endearing.
And I just think like I would have been okay with that if they like Mimi like learns her lesson, but it really doesn't feel like she learns anything by the end of the movie.
No,
so
5 minutes into the movie, I'm like, this kid's never gonna learn her lesson.
No, but so that's kind of what's going on here. But like I said, the monster designs are great fun. There really is. It's funny. We talked about the Flatwoods monster in our last episode. There's basically a Flatwoods monster in this movie.
Yeah,
clearly someone that's inspired by the Flatwoods monster. So Casey, what else do you have to say about this?
I'm intrigued.
Before we kind of wrap things up.
This is my favorite movie I've seen in years.
Wow.
Yeah,
holy shit.
I fucking loved this movie, and I feel like everyone should see it. So we said this in the beginning, but you might not have been paying attention because you didn't know what we were talking about. So I'm going to restate it. You can rent this right now. You can buy this right now digitally. You can buy it on disc. It will be on Shudder in May, but I don't wait that long. This movie rules. It deserves better than that. Pay a little something for these people. Throw them some money, okay? I don't know why I'm playing to the camera when I do this because we're not a video podcast, but
I appreciate it. It's for my benefit.
These people deserve all of the dollars, and I purchased this digitally, and I've already watched it a couple times, and God, I love this movie. Yeah, I haven't loved a movie this much since probably like The Raid Redemption. However long ago that was.
Damn.
So yeah, so check this out. If you've been listening to this show for a long time, you'll kind of know if you're into the same stuff as me or not. If you are, you will love this movie. If not, you'll probably hate it, but you'll at least get to see some awesome creature effects, and you'll at least come out at like a medium level of liking it. You might not absolutely love it as much as I do, but this is like someone made a movie for me.
Yeah, no, this is a great time. I gave it 3.5 stars. My main issues were just like the characters that I had some issues with. I just said issues and issues. My main issue was that I just had some problems with the characters, but I really did enjoy this. Definitely, this is a fun time, guys. You know, get some beers and some party snacks and have fun with it. So that is Psycho Goreman, off to a great start 2021 in that regard. So what else have we been watching? Okay. So a couple of years ago, we had 2 movies that came out that were pretty much the exact same type of movie, exact same setup, but they diverge a bit. And that was, we haven't talked about them on this podcast, but I watched them yesterday and I figured I'm going to say some shit about them. So Hellfest and Bloodfest came out like a month apart, maybe, in 2018. These are both movies that revolve around a Halloween Horror Nights type haunted event. And they're interesting.
So it's Byron's movie again.
It's Byron's movie again. It's Funhouse Massacre again, though I think these are both better than Funhouse Massacre, which isn't a high bar, but
no.
Have you guys seen either of these films?
No, which is weird because weird fair stuff is kind of in my wheelhouse, but I haven't watched either of those. So I'm excited to see how it goes. I mean, it has to be at least Ghoulies 2 level of fairground stuff to qualify.
I'd say at least one of them succeeds. So Hellfest released, actually Bloodfest released first, but I'm going to talk about Hellfest first. I hope this is going to be totally not confusing. So Hellfest released on September 28th, 2018. It's directed by Gregor Plotkin. This is the more kind of straightforward, it's more straightforward horror film. The protagonist is a white girl with no discernible personality. She just comes back into town, and her friends have ticket. She comes back into town, and her friends have tickets to Hellfest, which is HHN Halloween Horror Nights theme park kind of event. There's a guy going that she kind of likes. They're like early 20-somethings, but it feels organic. It feels like a group of people going to this event. There's several scenes of them, enjoying themselves. You've seen these people every time you go to Halloween Horror Nights. You probably were this person if you went to Halloween Horror Nights. They're just friends, having fun. They're all coupled up. One of them's on, the main girl is kind of on a quasi sort of date with this one guy. And then you see this dude that walks into the park, and he's very ominous looking. You just see the back of him, and then as soon as he gets in the park, he puts on a creepy looking mask so he fits in with everybody else, and eventually he stalks these people. No, it's not Casey.
It's you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I have worked at enough of these events to be annoyed by the people that the killer is killing, so I have no sympathy for the people that are being killed. And Chris, you have too.
It's true.
Worked at enough of these events.
It's true. Many a time, actually.
So the cast is really fun, especially Bex Taylor Claus, who you might know from Scream. They are great. And I think one of the things this movie does well, unlike Funhouse Massacre, which did not feel like a Halloween event, it felt like a courtyard. Like it didn't feel like a theme park kind of thing, which I think it was supposed to be. It felt like there was one area. This feels like a big-ass theme park, and they go to a bunch of different mazes in different parts. It feels like they're at a theme park, which I appreciate because I think that's important if you're doing an event like this, that it feels like a big area that you're exploring. There are some creative set pieces, some decent, gore effects, and the main villain, slasher villain here, he's effective. He's chilling. He's not like super creative or original, but it's just an effective, slow, drawn out kind of stock, horror thriller. And I don't have too much else to say about it, and that it's, for what it is, it's solid. Like the order of which people are dispatched is kind of surprising, and there are some fun teases here and there. It's sequel baits, as does Bloodfest, but I think I gave this about 2.5 stars. I enjoyed it. It was a fun watch. I would recommend it if you're just looking for something just to put on. They do have a little lore here, and they're obviously trying to set up for a sequel, which I just said. But I'd be interested to see where
in the theaters.
Yeah, this was released in theaters. I remember seeing
for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't see it, but I think that was probably before
because it was out of it was out of the theaters. Remember, we wanted to see it, and
I think we did.
Yeah.
I like this. This is available to watch somewhere for free. Somewhere. No, let me flick this up because I know it's available and I just watched it. Netflix. That's where it's on. Sorry.
On Netflix. Okay, cool.
And Bloodfest is available for free on Amazon Prime. So there you go.
Sweet.
If you're a Prime member. So that is Hellfest, 2.5 stars. Yeah, give it a watch. It's if you have not seen it and you're missing Halloween Horror Nights like I am desperately, it'll fix that craving a little bit for you. It'll fill that niche.
Wait, but how about
Hellfest, correct?
2018.
Yeah. I fucking saw this movie in the theater.
You did see it. What were your thoughts? Do you remember anything about it?
I remember that it had a creative idea and not a great execution.
Yeah. I mean, it's safe, but it's generally what they're trying to do is executed well enough. They're just not like reaching for the stars here with this. There isn't anything super creative or out of the box, which the other movie, Bloodfest,
what is that the fucking movie that we saw with the guy in the fake Doctor Who costume? No,
that's Funhouse Massacre.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so Hellfest is better than Funhouse Massacre.
Oh, it's much better than Funhouse Massacre. Yeah.
So that's your bar.
That's the bar. No, it's much. I would recommend this. If you're just looking for something on a whatever Wednesday night to watch, and you're something mindless that's not gonna be offensive to you, go for it. This is
my own experience. I feel like working in a haunted attraction, I think made it a little bit more enjoyable. So if you've worked at a haunted attraction, maybe you'll like this a little bit more.
If you've worked or you enjoy those type of events, you'll have fun with this. Bloodfest has like the exact same setup almost, but they try and jam a really crazy ass plot and a bunch of they're very clearly kind of aping Cabin in the Woods, but not effectively. It's about a young, again, 20-something guy. He witnessed his mom brutally murdered when he was young. by one of his dads. His dad's like a doctor, and one of his patients came into their house and murdered his mom. And to
Good
cope with that,
times.
he's become a big fan of horror movies. So he has a couple friends. They get tickets to this event. One of the friends is God, what is that dude's name? He was in Jacob Batalon, who is Peter Parker's best friend in the new Spider-Man films.
Oh, Ned.
Yeah, Ned. He's good. Also, Sachel Gabriel is in this. She's very good as well, but they like give her character the stiffest lines to work with, and that was one of my main issues, is that the dialogue in this movie is bad. It's just very not organic. They were obviously very ambitious. This is from Rooster Teeth, who is a very like big kind of YouTube conglomerate company. They're very, very well known. So this is, I don't know if this is their first feature release. I know they've done some other stuff. I don't know if Video Game High School is them. I'm not sure. It feels like they're all part of the same group to me. But that's someone that's like not in the YouTube clique. So
yeah, they run so many other things and are like partnered with so many things. It's hard to tell. Like they even like have a piece of Kind of Funny somehow. I think it might just be hosting or something. I don't know.
So this Bloodfest came out August 31st, 2018. It's directed by Owen Egerton. So they get invited. So they get to this event, Bloodfest, and it's they go to like kind of this big stage area. This huge crowd is there. They meet like the kind of the ringmaster of this event, and he's like, horror movies aren't scary anymore. Do you want to make them scary again? And everyone's like, yeah. And he's like, this shit's for real, basically. And there's a bunch of dudes with chainsaws, and they come out and start killing everyone in the crowd.
Actually being murdered.
So in this movie, it's not one person stalking a group. It's like the whole event is apt to kill everybody, basically, which sounds cool.
Sounds like Funhouse Massacre, though.
Sort of, except on a larger scale, I would say.
Okay.
So it's like a group of 3 people. There are some fun nods. Before the shit goes down, there is one dude they meet who is part of this horror franchise that the main character loves called, I think it's like, he's called the Arborist, so it's like Arbor Day, like obviously a nod to like the Groundhog Day horror movie in reference in Monster
I'm wondering
Squad.
I'm wondering if they're smart enough for it to actually be a nod to the Mad Magazine Harbor Day, but I doubt it.
Maybe. But so yeah, he's like this jaded kind of actor who played the villain in all these Arbor Day horror movies called the Arborist, and he's apparently never seen them, and it doesn't like scary movies, and so he ends up kind of joining the groups and parts, and he kind of has his own sort of redemption arc. And
it's sounding like I would hate this movie already, like honestly.
They just try and jam way too much. So there's a whole like, thing behind the scenes that's very Cabin in the Woods of like people working this event. And it's like, how did this dude get all these people to agree to like mass murder everybody?
Right.
And he's like trying to like basically make his own like large scale snuff horror movie is basically what he's doing. There is there's a little more to it than I'm saying. That's like a reveal later on, which if you watch the movie, you will see. But basically the group has a map and they try and shoehorn a bunch of different types of like monsters in this movie. So there's like, because they need to like get to a certain part of the park to hit a gem, like a breaker to escape. So they have to go through like a clown section, and there's like a graveyard with zombies, and there's vampires at one point. And then they meet a dude who's dressed like the Arborist. So like they're trying to go through different sections. The problem is it does not feel like a theme park at all. Like they're going through they go through like a random forest area. There's like these buildings that like, they don't feel like mazes. They feel like just, that looks like it's one of them supposed to be an abandoned high school, and it really just feels like a high school like building. It doesn't feel like they're in a theme park at all. And it doesn't like, even though they're, I mean, they clearly had a budget. They go to a bunch of different places. They had some decent effects here. It just doesn't feel like they're in a theme park like in Hellfest. It feels like this is something made up.
Yeah, Rooster Teeth has a budget. They're very
they clearly
very
have money
rich.
For this. Zachary Levi has a kind of random cameo that amounts to basically nothing in this. It's just it's a horror comedy more than just a horror movie, which Hellfest is just a horror movie, but the comedy just really doesn't land most of the time.
Zach, I saw Cabin in the Woods. I loved Cabin in the Woods, but my first fear was that people are going to try to rip off Cabin in the Woods.
This feels very much like they saw that and tried to like apply that to Halloween Horror Nights, which isn't a terrible idea. It's just the humor isn't there, and it feels very convoluted and as to how this works. So like there are zombies that come up, but they're not actual people. There are actually corpses that somehow this guy reanimated with like electrical like wires or something, which is just silly. There are vampires that like there are a bunch of just convoluted reasons for how these monsters came to be. Like he has a conversation with somebody, and to be fair, this conversation was actually kind of funny because one of his workers is like, "How did you get all these people to agree to this?" And he's like, "People are messed up in the head, man." And he's goes on this kind of monologue, and then he's like, "The clowns I found on Craigslist," which was funny. So it's kind of it's very half baked as to how he set this whole thing up. It really doesn't make much sense. Again, why these people are helping him doesn't make any sense. But this group is kind of going throughout this story. There's one scene that's obviously like a nod to Saw. That's like a Saw type situation someone gets in. But the characters don't have enough kind of their own, like the character Sam, the lead girl. She really has no like plot or motivation of her own. It's just to kind of aid the main guy, which like they really didn't give her any kind of backstory or anything. She's just there to kind of make the main guy feel good and get him out of his slump, which sucks. So like I think this may have been their first foray into like making a horror movie. There's some fun elements here. Like I said, there's some fun gore. There are some fun moments. It just felt like they tried to do way too much. And so it doesn't quite, I gave it 2 stars. I definitely would say go Hellfest over this. It's more straightforward and it's executed rather well. Bloodfest it's way too much happening at once. It's not, the performances are fine. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And if you can turn your brain off, you might have some fun with it. Again, it's available for free, but like it's just trying way too hard. I feel like they could stop naming their final girls Sam in all of these movies. It's been done. Think of a different name.
Oh God, I wrote a script with a girl named Sam.
I think that's fine, but like, give her a character, give her like a motivation. She shouldn't just be like support for the main dude. She has to have her own backstory and her own goals, and not just making the main dude feel bad.
Girl named Sam, and we don't know why.
We're past the point that we're at the point now where people haven't seen Nightmare on Elm Street that are making horror movies, so they don't know how cool Nancy was. I'm just saying, Nancy was the shit. Jamie Lee Curtis, prototype for being the shit. I mean, come on.
So that was Bloodfest and Hellfest. Fun double feature. Someone that's really missing Halloween Horror Nights and is desperate to go this year. Even if it doesn't come to LA, I will find a way to go to Orlando and do it there as long as it's safe.
It's Florida safe.
It's gonna happen. So I had fun watching them. Definitely check out Hellfest. I think it's a good time. So, and I'd be interested to see what else Rooster Teeth has done. I'm sure they're probably working on some other features if they haven't already released them. I'm so out of the loop on what they're doing. But again, if you watch it, it's not the worst thing you're going to ever see. It's just, they try to do a lot of things. Maybe it'll click more for you than it did for me.
And that brings me to my first Valentine's Day suggestion.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into that now.
Festival of shit.
So let's help you guys out. It's Valentine's Day, guys. So when you're doing Valentine's Day, there are a couple different situations, and depending on your situation, we have different recommendations for you. So if you're on a date, what you watch may be different than if you're already coupled up with somebody, if you already are married or engaged or have a girlfriend, boyfriend. Or if you're single, which if you're single, watch whatever the hell you want. But I do have some suggestions. But who wants to go first? So Valentine's Day, what horror movie are you going to put on? Let's say if you were on a date.
Okay, perfect. I've got the best answer for you. Okay. So you're on a date.
And before Casey recommends the gore cut of Tammy and the T-Rex.
No. That's for couples. For a date.
Special night.
You have to look. Okay, so you're on a date. You want to see if you can have a relationship with this person feasibly, right? You want to see if life's going to take you down the right path. So there's only one way to know. There's only one way to know if this is the right person for you, and that is to watch Society.
I knew you were going to say
your
that.
Date. Because hey, look, either you get rid of a person that's not down for everything, or you have a little shunting of your own. Win-win situation. Society. I endorse this film.
Only if, like, right after the movie is over, you turn to your date, look them in the eye, and say, "So you want to try that?"
Exactly. 100%. 100%. You down?
Casey, we are on the same we are on the same wavelength here because I had society as well.
Tremendous. Tremendous.
I mean, it's an obvious pick. It's the go-to, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Guys,
it's the trick or treat of
we've had
Valentine's Day
this because we've had this discussion before, but it bears repeating. If you can get a date to sit through society and they don't run for the door afterwards, you are in, my friend. They like you a lot.
They might be cut your dick off crazy. Also.
Yeah. I was like, or maybe you should run for the door.
50-50. Yeah,
I'm gonna
50-50.
up this. So I'm gonna up this. I have a double feature recommendation. So you start with Society, and then you finish off with Angel Heart.
Yeah, it's a pretty fucked up movie. Yeah.
Because nothing gets you in the mood like teenage angst, butt heads, familial orgies, and obscene amounts of ultra slime, and a little voodoo on the side.
Voodoo.
And then if you're feeling extra frisky, throw in Splice on top of all of that. If you really want to get them in the mood. Adrian Brody and
that
Animal
movie made
Human.
me feel dirty inside.
That movie is so messed up.
And plus, look, there's a bonus. If Adrian Brody's on the screen, you're gonna look handsome in comparison, no matter what.
So the Empire podcast just put out like a 3-hour long interview with Edgar Wright and Quentin Tarantino together, talking about like their favorite movie theater moments.
Mm-hmm.
And Edgar Wright mentioned Splice as being one of them, just because in the one scene that's like in the middle of the movie involving Adrian Brody and an alien woman creature, someone in the theater stood up and yelled, "Fuck you!" and then left.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw that with my parents too. That was an awkward watch.
Good times.
All right, Chris, we've given our very serious recommendations here for dates on Valentine's Day. So what do you...
Oh, so my first one, I'm gonna go with just one that I know works because it's my guarantee. It's the movie I saw on my first date, and it's the art house horror movie, The Lighthouse.
Lighthouse.
Yeah, so I mean, it worked for me. It could work for everybody. I mean, it's a cozy time. Willem Dafoe and Robert
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. I just want to call him Edward Cullen. I know. I haven't even seen those movies.
He's Batman. God damn it.
I know. Until Batman comes out, we need to. Yeah. Anyway, Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. Hold up in a lighthouse together, sing some sea shanties, which is what the kids are doing nowadays. Kill a fucking bird. Eat some lobster. Dance around. Maybe at times almost get a little too intimate with each other, and more weird shit happens involving like mermaid vaginas and a giant light trying to kill them. It's pretty great.
Plus, you got Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, so they're gonna look at both of those guys and go, "Okay, he's not Willem Dafoe."
Yeah. I mean, I'm not kidding, by the way. I saw this on my first date with my now girlfriend, and we had lunch like a few days earlier, and it was kind of our like first like official sort of like, I don't know, lunch date or whatever, and we were talking about like, yeah, we should go see a movie together, and she was like, yeah. She's like, what should we go see? And I was like, I don't know. What do you want to see? And she was like, well, I kind of want to see that movie, The Lighthouse. And I was like, really? She was like, yeah, I think it looks interesting.
What the fuck, man? I saw Toy Story 2 for my first date with my girlfriend. Jesus.
Hey, there's all different kinds. I'm sure y'all had a lot to unpack after the movie, after Toy Story 2.
Yeah, that's a tremendous movie. Tremendous movie. I'm glad it wasn't 3. Oh, fuck that movie.
Yeah. Oh, you could just
let's all burn up in a pit and die together, guys.
But yeah, watching Robert Pattinson whack it to a small wooden sculpture of a mermaid was the perfect catalyst for a romantic evening.
Man, it sucks it wasn't Willem Dafoe, that tasty snack. Oh.
I mean, you do see his bare ass in the movie, so.
The Green Goblin's ass.
Mhm.
In all seriousness, if you're on a date and you're actually looking for something fun to throw on, go like for From Dusk Till Dawn or something. That'll work.
No, I stand by society. Fuck that.
Steamy vampire stuff, George Clooney, some gore, some fun.
Dude, you watch From Dusk Till Dawn, you're gonna look like a pervert. I just watch Society.
Society.
I have another pick unless somebody else wants to go next.
No, go for it, Chris.
Go for it,
Chris.
Oh, okay. So I think this is actually a genuinely good pick. I think this is like one of the most romantic horror films I've ever seen, and this is Spring from.
I don't think I've seen this.
2014. Oh man, Casey, have you seen Spring?
No.
Oh, dude, I think you will genuinely like this.
Yeah, I've heard it's great. I've just never seen it.
So Spring is basically like a Richard Linklater romance movie mixed with like Cthulhu horror, or H.P. Lovecraft horror at least. So it's basically about this guy who, has a shit life in America. So he just like one day just like spends like the last of his money on a plane trip to Italy and just starts like working for an old man in Italy, just basically like trying to start his life over. And he meets this insanely hot girl, and they kind of start like a relationship together. And then, he realizes that maybe this girl, maybe she's not human. Maybe she's, at times has some tentacles, or maybe some sort of H.P. Lovecraft creature. I don't know. But it's genuinely like heartwarming and charming while also being kind of disgusting at times.
You had me at tentacles. You had me at tentacles. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this movie. It's it's really creepy and interesting, and like it's almost like if The Fly were not a tragedy, but actually kind of hopeful.
Oh, okay.
Sold. The man's dick fell off. Oh.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So just kind of flip that in almost every regard. But I highly recommend this movie. I think it's fucking awesome, and I think as long as your girlfriend's okay with a little bit of like slime and some weirdness, I think it's gonna set the mood really well.
That's awesome. I need to see this movie. I really do.
I've had it on Tubi, on Shudder.
Ooh, nice.
Lots of places.
I've had it recommended to me. I've just never watched it.
Yeah, I definitely need to
check
check
it out. I don't get past the word romance. I just don't get past the word romance. That's my problem.
But speaking of slime and some weirdness, I have a recommendation if you're already in a couple. I mean, I guess really any situation you could watch this on Valentine's Day. This is actually a legit good recommendation, unless if you can get past human gillman intimacy, and that's The Shape of Water, which is really a sweet romantic movie. Just as long as fish fucking doesn't freak you out.
Yeah,
no, dude. Guar wrote a song about it. It's all good.
Oh,
Spring is more like a more gross version of Shape of Water, and less sort of like whimsy.
Here's a movie I do not recommend unless you're maybe by yourself. Ladies, you might want to watch this one if you're single on Valentine's Day. That is Audition. 1999.
Yeah. No. Look,
don't break
if you're
this one
about
out, guys.
if you're about to go on a date, watch this one. Just be safe. Look out for it.
I think Audition is the perfect movie to watch if you're single, because then you can just be like, "Fuck, never mind."
At least it wasn't me. Yeah,
My Pillow is good enough.
If you're single, Audition and Promising Young Woman, double feature right there.
Oh yeah.
Which I haven't seen Promising Young Woman, but I imagine it would go well with Audition.
It's basically Audition. Yeah.
Yeah. It's more sympathetic than I think the advertisements make it look.
I'm planning to watch it tonight. I was supposed to watch it last night, but
there's yeah. I'll just say there's less murder than you think there's gonna be.
If you're okay, so like when we're talking about couples, like how long are they a couple? Like how used to your bullshit is this other person? That's my question.
That's true. That is true.
Because that depends on my pick. Because like really, I think that the best one, no matter what, is Tetsuo the Iron Man. Just because they, he was in a relationship, it makes sense. That's what you should be watching. Tetsuo the Iron Man, if you're a couple. Just to test the waters a little bit, If they sit down and watch Tetsuo the Iron Man with you, you know you're in the right place.
It's on.
And ladies, if your guy is watching Tetsuo the Iron Man with you and gets a boner, yeah, weird shit, man. Weird shit. But you know what? That's what you signed up for.
So yeah, another here's a good one. If you're single, watch Ready or Not. That movie is awesome.
Ooh, I almost watched that the other night.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Just no matter what, you know what? If you're a couple, watch it, and especially like if you're on a date, watch it, and just say, hey, if I meet your family, none of this bullshit.
Another good date horror movie, Night of the Creeps. Ends on a romantic note, generally. You know.
Now look, Night of the Creeps works for everything because it's got Tom Atkins in it. The embodiment of like, look, if you're trying to get your partner in the mood, just put Tom Atkins on the screen and you're guaranteed action.
So bottom line, channel Tom Atkins this Valentine's Day, ladies and gentlemen.
Go look at how masks are made. And then
any other Valentine's Day recommendations?
Nah, dude.
The movie Valentine.
Yeah, I mean, there's Valentine. There's My Bloody Valentine.
We were avoiding the obvious picks like Valentine or My Bloody Valentine.
Just watch some vampire movies or something, man. Vampires, blood, hearts, it all works together. Everything's red.
Valentine is probably one of the earliest slashers I ever saw. I mean, I think I was like 10 when that came out, and I feel like it was one of the first ones I saw in theaters for sure. I mean, I'd seen stuff before then, but I feel like that was one of the first ones I saw in theaters.
I will say that the killer's mask is cool in that movie. I'll give him that.
Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula is pretty horny.
Yeah, that's a horny movie. He should get bonked and put in horny jail. They just made pop figures of Bram Stoker's Dracula. And, Zach sent me the link and he's like, dude, they're making pop figures of Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I looked through the list. I'm like, where the fuck is Keanu Reeves? Where the fuck is the Keanu Reeves pop of him and Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Complete with Californian British accent.
Exactly. If they could make the first ever talking pop of his horrible accent in that movie that comes and goes every 5 minutes.
Boston lives.
See these vampire women and
Jonathan Harker.
I am a real estate agent.
All right, guys, quick poll. What is the most romantic slasher villain? Who has the biggest heart?
Okay, biggest heart. I mean,
I gotta say Chucky. I mean, little motherfucker.
Yeah, he's got
married.
A bride. Yeah,
He got married. He eventually settled down.
He definitely has a sex drive.
I mean, Freddy does, but it's towards children. So can't count Freddy. Child molester, creepy freak.
Oh, thank you.
Jason, I don't think he knows what his penis is.
Jason's penis fell off years ago.
Yeah, Michael Myers fucked his own cousin.
Then again, Jason.
Yeah, this is too messed up of a question.
Jason targets couples that are having intercourse specifically, like. So,
you know what it is?
Yeah, that's why.
It's Leatherface because he'll Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. He tries to have chainsaw sex, and he loves the women so much he'll wear them as a suit, just like that song that came out. You're so cute, I want to wear you as a suit. That didn't bother anyone, proving that if women say it, it's okay, but if it's Leatherface, it's gross and he's a monster. Double standard.
Oh, and I think we're forgetting about Pinhead, who is the most romantic horror villain of all.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Pinhead's all about buggery.
Hellraiser 1 and 2, great movies to put on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, 3 not so much. Bloodlines, come on. We don't watch Alan Smithy films on Valentine's Day.
Now that I think about The Fly might be a good one to throw on and just be like, see? I'm not that bad.
Oh, Reanimator. Reanimator's a great one.
Never try to throw up on you.
Reanimator and Bride of Reanimator as a double feature.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is going too far.
Hey, do we want to predict the movies that Joe Bob's going to show for his special Valentine? You know what? This won't be out by then. Cut that. Cut it. This will be after.
No, this will be out before Valentine's Day.
If it is, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Hunted and the Love Witch. Just because I didn't like Hunted. That could have gone with our Don't Cross the Streams. I did watch that. I didn't like it. I've heard good things about the Love Witch, but I've heard good things about the Love Witch from Kevin, and you guys know how weird Kevin is. I mean, come on, he's been on this show before.
Which is a weird fucking movie.
Yeah, it's I'm pretty sure that that's going to be one of the choices because one of the filmmakers said they're going to be guesting on the show. So why else would they be there? But yeah, I've heard recommendations from Kevin to see this movie, so I'm excited to see that. But you have my non-recommendation for Hunted. I hated it.
I have another. I probably should have put this in Don't Cross the Streams, but we were short on time. But I watched The Relic, which came out in 1997. I watched that a few weeks ago. Fun little creature feature.
Oh,
yeah,
dude, it feels like it feels like if you were to, like the Resident Evil. Did you ever play Parasite Eve? The Resident Evil kind of like knockoff game. It feels like that kind of is a movie to me anyway.
Yeah, it's based on a novel, Relic by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. It's a kind of dimly lit creature feature. Takes place in the late 90s. It's filmed in the late 90s. It takes place in a natural history museum on the night that they're like opening a new exhibit. A weird mutated creature is wreaking havoc underneath the museum.
Yeah, it feels like a survival horror video game as a movie more than the Resident Evil movies ever did.
Yeah, the creature, I mean, despite this, considering it was like late 90s, like the creature looks pretty good. There's some good practical effects there. There's some bad CG, but there's some good practical effects. And this movie might have has a high number of head decapitations. So if that's your thing,
yeah,
go for it.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how many heads were plopped off of that movie. Because that's kind of the creature's MO. So
the Resident Evil movies are romantic if you just think about the aspect that the director keeps making them just to keep his spouse employed.
Yeah.
So bad. I do gotta say though, while we're on the subject, I did play the Resident Evil demo that came out for the PS5, and we talk about movies a lot on here. Holy shit, it was an awesome gaming experience. The graphics are great. If you can play with headphones with the 3D sound that the PS5 does, it's a crazy experience. Like, their sound design in that game is beautiful. It's about vampires, I think, that also turn into bees. I don't know why that's a thing. There's a really tall lady with Freddy Krueger claws that come out of her hands that has become somewhat of a meme on the internet. And it's pretty amazing. It's a first person. You start out in a dungeon. You don't even know who your character's supposed to be, but it's called Maiden. So I'm assuming you're supposed to be one of the victims of these vampire people escaping. That's what it kind of looks like. And you make your way through a few secret passages and into this mansion. And you try to escape the mansion and things happen. I won't spoil it for anyone. The demo's only 10 or 15 minutes long once you figure out the path you're supposed to take. And there's literally a note at the beginning of the game that tells you everything you have to do to escape, more or less. And if you played a Resident Evil before, you know how all the puzzles work and how they make no sense in real life. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I suggest checking it out. Zach, get a PS5.
I know.
You got to try this.
But
honestly, if you watch any of the demos of the showcase of this game, they're just playing this. So you'll see it. You just won't get the cool 3D sound.
Yeah. I definitely want to check it out. It looks great. So I need to play Resident Evil 7. So I probably should do that first.
Biohazard. Yeah, I should probably play it too. I get it for free in that PS4 collection for the PS5. I haven't checked that out yet, other than the demo. The demo was creepy as shit. Did you at least play the demo when that one came out?
For Resident Evil 7?
Mannequins?
I feel like I may have, but I don't remember. I wanted to do it with VR, and then I just never got a VR headset. Now they're probably going to release a better one, and so I was like...
Honestly, I heard that the PSVR version is shitty. Like, you have to do the PC VR for it to look good. Like, it looks really, really bad on PSVR.
Okay.
Yeah, VR experiences in horror, they're getting there. We're getting more of them. The Paranormal Activity one makes people shit their pants pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's not the best game, but it really scares people with the jump scares. Kind of like they're not the best movies, but they really scare people with the jump scares.
So yeah, this was our Valentine's Day show.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a review of Wrong Turn, but it hasn't come to video on demand services yet, so hopefully that'll be in the next episode. I think it comes to VOD on February 13th, and there's a bunch of other stuff coming out this month, so we'll definitely have some more reviews for you next time. I hope you guys have a wonderful Valentine's Day,
Yeah, however you spend it.
If you're able to have a safe date, that's awesome. Good for you. Enjoy it. Watch something. If you want to watch a horror movie, have fun with it. And, our suggestions, there are a few actual good serious ones in there. Most of them do not put on Society.
The best real suggestion I can give is just watch Psycho Goreman. I loved it. No matter what you're doing, just watch Psycho Goreman.
That's on my list now. So thank you.
All right, guys. So where can they find you on social media? Casey.
They can find me at Lucha Gringo on Twitter and on Letterboxd. It's a private account on Twitter. I'll add you. Don't worry about it. Unless you look like suspicious or something.
Chris, where can
I
they
assume
find
if
you,
you're our
sir?
listener, you're pretty suspicious.
I'm on Twitter and Letterboxd at Chris Pistol, Chris with a K, Pistol with a E. Easy to find.
And
I have a personal Twitter account, twitter.com/earth2zach, earth the number 2 Zach, ZAK. You can find me at that URL on Instagram as well. My profile is now public, so easy to just follow me right on there. And please follow us. Most importantly, follow us on our main Twitter account under Another Miserable Podcast. So twitter.com/ actually the URL is MPOS official, but just look up Another Miserable Podcast. You will find us because that's going to change to Another Miserable Podcast soon anyway. And on YouTube, please subscribe to us there. Anywhere you find us, subscribe to us. And if you really enjoy what we do, guys, please leave us a nice review on Apple Podcasts. That would really, really help us out. We would really appreciate that. So we're hoping this is going to be a big year for us. So please leave us a nice review on Apple Podcasts. Before we go, shout out to Future Monsters. So I took some new pictures because I like to do that every so often just to remember what I look like. And I was wearing one of my new t-shirt from Future Monsters, which is one of my favorite horror apparel places. They shared it on Instagram. So shout out to Future Monsters, not for sharing it, but shout out to them because they have some of the best horror apparel out there. I talked about them in our gift guide episode at the end of last year. So I just want to give them another plug because they are fantastic. They really make great vintage kind of 70s inspired horror merch. It's really cool. Everything is super comfortable. So go check them out. And if you go to their Instagram page and you look at their tag post, you will see me because I tagged them there. So nice. Shout out to Future Monsters. They are awesome.
Hell yeah. Good shirts. Good shirts.
Oh gosh. I feel like there was something else I was going to say and I'm going to be annoyed if I don't remember what I was going to say.
Follow our good homie Kevin on social media.
Yes.
KG Cannarile. That's KGCANNARILE. Follow him. He's been upping his social media presence and he has been posting all kinds of cool horror related stuff. He did this drawing of the Gill Man that is amazing. His version of the Gill Man. You got to see it.
Oh yeah. Definitely follow our good friend Kevin Connorelli. He's going to be joining us again for our Godzilla vs. Kong episode in March sometime when the movie comes out. Okay, one more thing. Since this is our 40th episode, I'm going to give us a little bit of announcement. I've teased some different things coming to this podcast, but it's about time that I at least told you this. We are adding a subtitle to the podcast. So henceforth, Another Miserable Podcast full name will be Another Miserable Podcast Horror Decomposed. So we just kind of want to up our horror branding a bit. We want to up our horror branding a bit and, realize...
you guys don't know how fucking long we struggled to get this subtitle.
I threw a bunch of titles at them and they just said no to like all of them. So at some point that will be reflected on our social media accounts. We're going to get some new artwork soon, hopefully. And yeah, but still mainly going to refer to it as Another Miserable Podcast, because saying Another Miserable Podcast, Horror Decomposed every time will be annoying, but that's kind of the full title. That's kind of like our tagline now. So yeah,
I gotta say, Horror Decomposed looks cooler on a shirt.
Yeah. So
merchandising purposes.
Yeah, so that's kind of the next step for Another Miserable Podcast, Horror Decomposed. So I hope you guys stay with us, keep following us. We have a lot of fun stuff planned. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be an awesome year. Lots of cool shit is coming out this year. Thank you so much for just continuing to listen to us, and we really appreciate it. Appreciate the support, and have an awesome Valentine's Day, whether you're by yourself or with someone. Enjoy it. If you're not with someone, I love you. You are loved. And if you
Zach
are with
will
someone,
come over to your house and spoon you.
no. But I appreciate you.
Look. We all love our listeners here, but what are you doing? Still listening to the show? Go watch Psycho Goreman right now. You make me sick. Go watch it.
Chris has to get ready for work, so we should cut this thing. So thank you again, guys. We will see you next time on Another Miserable Podcast, Horror Decomposed. Later.